Rosemary. This is Mark's favorite herb. But I'm noticing the roots are hanging out the bottom, which means we need to transplant this guy. It's going to be a surprise for Mark. Hi, welcome back to Make My Food Awesome. If you're new to our channel, please hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it. Today, I'm going to show you the supplies that we need for our project. We're going to need a Sharpie, an object with a pointed end like this paring knife, scissors, a ruler, plastic drink bottles, a measuring cup, and coffee filters. This is the type of potting soil that we're going to use today. Make sure you're not using seed starter. Well, being that we're going to transplant the rosemary today, we might as well also transplant the basil. All right, now we're ready to take our plastic drink bottle project and turn this into a self-watering container in which we can transplant our herbs into. The first step is going to be taking your container and washing it out with hot soapy water. The second step that you're going to want to do is you want to remove your label. Using your scissors, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you're going to discard the top as well as the wrapper. All right, well, we're ready to start our project. I'm going to set these things aside to make some workspace. We're going to take our plastic container and we're going to make a self-watering container for our transplanted herbs. So I'm going to grab this item just so I can keep the top of this steady as I do my markings. I'm going to take my ruler and from the brim of my container inward, I'm going to mark a spot at the 5-inch line. Now, I'm going to keep the tip of my bottle against the can and I'm going to trace my line all the way around my container. This is going to be my cut line when I separate the top of my container from the bottom. All the way back to the start. Next, I'm going to take my paring knife, which has the sharp edge, and I'm going to make a cut or a start line on my container. Now, using my scissors, I'm going to carefully cut around the whole bottle until I go back to the beginning, separating the top from the bottom. Now, depending on the size plant or flower you want to transplant, you can use different size drink containers. If you're using a large plant, you could use a 2-liter. If you're going to start seedlings, then you could use a 16-ounce. I'm going to take the bottom and set that aside. And now I'm going to need the top. We're going to construct the top piece for our planting. I'm going to take a coffee filter now and bring it over. We're going to use it to construct our top. So taking your coffee filter, we're going to kind of squish it up like so. Doesn't have to be beautiful. And we're going to insert this portion into the top of the bottle. You want some of your filter hanging down like a wick. What we're going to be eventually doing, is setting the top into the bottom where you want your coffee filter to be touching the water that we're going to fill into the bottom. We're also going to put our herb up into the top portion now. So setting this aside, we're going to squeeze the dirt to loosen up the edges of our herb, and we're going to gently remove that from its original container, keeping the root base intact. Carefully inserting that into the container. Okay. Now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to take the rest of our potting soil and fill it in to top off the top. See how there's an air space there? We want to make sure that the air space is not that great. All right, now we're ready to add the soil to our planter. You're going to gently move your plant to the side And using your measuring cup, you're going to add dirt all the way around your planter, gently packing it in along the circumference and edges of your container. You want to make sure that the dirt is not heaping over the top, and you want to make sure it's just below that level. Because when you do water this, it is going to bring that water or that dirt level down just a little bit more than what it is now. So now we're ready to add some water to the top of our planter. All right, now it's time to add water to our container. The first thing that we're going to do is add water into our bottom cell. You don't want it to be too cold or too hot. So I filled it up about a third of the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my top to make sure my coffee filter dips down into the water source. Now I want to top off my planter with just sprinkling some water along the top. You want to make sure that you don't add too much water and waterlog your herb. So just turn and water little bits at a time, just to make sure it's damp. Okay? Well, I have to say that's a pretty good looking self-watering container. What you're going to want to watch for over time is as your herb grows, in this section here, you'll see white fibrous roots. And once they cover all the way around your container, that will be an indicator to you that it's time to move it to a larger container. This size herb might take 1 to 2 months to do that, and you could move it to a 2-liter size bottle, or if you feel that it's large enough to move to a regular container outside on your patio or your garden, you could do that. I really think Mark is going to like this surprise. Now we're going to need to plant the basil next. My favorite. Oh, here's the basil now. I think these turned out real nice. Something that you want to keep in mind is never let your bottom wells go dry. And when you water from the top, make sure you don't drown your plant as well. Depending on your temperature and your climate that you live in, if it's more temperate versus dry, you might have to water these and fill more often than not. So you'll just have to kind of feel that out as time goes along. And right now, I can't wait to go get Mark. Come on.
Coming.
All right. You can open your eyes now.
Oh, wow.
Do you like?
Oh, I love.
Yeah. So these are self-watering containers. And like I was telling everyone earlier, as these guys get bigger, we can transplant them to, say, a 2-liter or even an outdoor container that we have on our patio or our garden.
These will be great in the garden.
Yes, and what's nice about these is that they don't make a mess on the bottom. You can place them in a sunny window. You can move them just about anywhere you want.
I have got some ideas for some delicious recipes, and they're going to involve both of them.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to put these out there. You know what? Let's go look at the garden anyways. Let's go check it out. I know there's nothing out there right now, but you know, it's nice outside a little bit.
It is.
Let's get outside.
All right. Let's go. See you guys.